Alright, welcome back everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第202天 is day 202. Business as usual. Yesterday was pretty good. Let's get right into our lessons here.
画册
画册, like a photo album or a painting album or a comic album. Interesting. I think this is deliberately doing with artwork though. It's 画册. 画册. 法国. 法国. 漫画. Oh, 漫画. Yeah. 漫画画册.
法国漫画画册
漫画.
画册
画册.
指甲
指甲. Finger armor. Fingernail. 他什么 sword 他跟 something 了 指甲
他刚剪的指甲
剪了 yeah oh 剪了 剪 is much more cut than what was it 切 right 切了 different cut. Interesting. 剪 yeah 剪 is something I'm more used to because I'm always thinking about cutting fingernails. It's really just cutting fingernails. 剪指甲 interesting 指甲指甲
委员
节哀加节哀指甲委员no 委员委员 is okay committee. Oh, I had trouble spelling committee yesterday. I kept typing community member. Yeah. Okay. 委员委员被 snowflake brush finger what wait finger and trellis I don't know 逮捕了 wow 逮捕了
委员被逮捕了
逮捕了逮捕捕 is that really the same thing as patch? I think so. I don't remember the trellis part of patch. I don't remember the other part. Oh no. Okay, we'll have to review that. Hang on. Is that actually boo? No, it's not. It's suit. That's right. Boo is suit. It's still boo, but still. Oops.
委员羽毛球
羽毛球 oh yeah badminton I guess that's how you say shuttlecock 羽毛球 feather like feather fur ball it's describing the shuttlecock 我喜欢打羽毛球 oh no 羽毛球 next I'd be saying like 羽毛球羽毛球 有
羽毛球
羽毛球
委员会
委员会 committee. Yeah, fair enough. It's interesting this isn't committee meeting, just committee. 委员委员会学校委员
学校委员会
会
委员会
OK
画册
画册
羽毛球
羽毛球
委员
委员 Oops committee member
委员会
会
指甲
指甲Alright 手册 Which is a handbook makes sense handbook 公司员工手册
公司员工手册
手册
手册
以及
level B or second rank or rank 2 second level yeah okay 他获得了以及灯画 No 樟树那灯画樟树
他获得了乙级证书
OK
以及扩音器
扩音器或 enlarge sound machine yeah megaphone yes 扩音器 loudspeaker 我需要一个扩音器Oops
扩音器译本
translation 译本 so we have translate 译本 this book or notebook but that this is a supplementary character 译本 kind of like when or when and bun and mon 译本 translation 这本书有几个不同的译本 This counter book has how many different translations? This book has several different translations. Oh, how many? Oh, some amount. I see. Several. Okay.
译本载客
to carry passengers. Yeah, carry guests, carry passengers. 载客这架飞机不能 不能载客，
这架飞机不能载客。
不能载客。
载客。
诶
手册。
手册。
一本。
一本。
载客。
载客。
扩音器。
扩音器。
以及。
以及。
羽毛。
羽毛。feathers. Okay. plumage. Plume. 羽毛。A peacock. I don't know what that is. 的羽毛很美丽。
孔雀的羽毛很美丽。
Oh, 美丽。Oh, it's not 2, it's 3. 美丽。美丽。孔雀。孔雀 interesting. 孔雀 no, don't recognize 孔雀 don't recognize 雀 either. 孔雀 not every day that both the characters are missing.
羽毛。晒黑。
晒黑黑晒黑 bask black. To bask into darkened. 他的他的脸冒黑了no 晒黑了冒黑了晒黑了。
他的脸晒黑了。
晒黑晒黑。
晒黑。县级。
县级 oh this one's weak. 县 county. 县级 county level makes sense. Rank. 他是县级警察的一员。
他是县级警察的一员。
一员。县级。
县级。尾。
喂 oh no, that looks very suspiciously like something else. What does this remind me of? Duh? Was duh like no, maybe it was just 100. Oof. Okay. Or was it shellfish? It might have been shellfish. No. Doesn't look right either. Why am I thinking of the? What is the? We? Oh, it's self. Or nose. Sorry, it's nose. Okay. Way only. Oh, you know what? It also reminds me of Way, which also dealt with the turkey. Was it like that? Pretty sure it was this. Hold up. What is that? maintain. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is way. Yep. Okay, only turkey this time. Walter White is inside the beach house, laying on the wicker chair, completely naked, of course. He thinks he is the only one in the house, which is why he does this. But suddenly a turkey comes in from the beach, still wearing sunshades, and sees Walter. He can only open his mouth and gape in disbelief as Walter runs to find his only pair of clothes he has to get dressed once more, blushing. Okay. Well, that... I thought maybe he'd just go and, you know, eat a turkey at the beach house. Right. He only had turkey left in the fridge. I think we're just gonna go with that instead. So Walter White is inside the beach house, you know, laying on the wicker chair. He's trying to take a vacation from it all. He's the only one in the house because he's on a vacation. And he's way too chill and vibing hard enough to go find anything else to go out to get some food, right? There's only turkey in the fridge, so he sighed and took the turkey and munched on it, you know, putting some turkey in his mouth and munching on it, right? That's kind of how we're gonna go with that one. Wei only, okay. Wei du. Du is alone, only alone. Fair enough.
为子
Meticulous. Why do I... Wasn't there another meticulous? There was another meticulous. Don't recall what it is. It deals with fine though. 线. No, C. It does have C in it. It's a combination with C for fine details. Fine. C. And what was it? Yeah. 精细. 精细. So 精 is essence, fine essence. Yeah. The meticulous. Essence of being detailed. Meticulous. Okay. Ji. I wonder if 细记 or 几细. 几细 is a thing where you combine meticulous with fine or detailed. So 几细 as a word, as a example that's coming up. Zelda, alright. Zelda's in the basement of the house. Okay, Zelda. Alright. Meticulously taking care of Slender Man's children, where he is out traveling. Each of the children are meticulously dressed, each wearing a black suit like their father. They are likewise all strangely tall and skinny. Zelda goes around and in a meticulous manner, clipboard in hand to check off each child, make sure all of them are okay as they sit there in the basement. Zelda. I guess she's kind of fancy, but in the basement of all places. Maybe the children are just chilling in the basement because that's what Underman's children be doing. But Zelda. If at all, it could be a little bit confused with James Bond. Maybe in the princessly way. You know, meticulously in a princessly way. Carefully. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, yeah, carefully. 仔细. 仔细. It means a little different, but carefully works. Yeah, see? There it is. The combination. I'm surprised it didn't stay... Oh, meticulous plus fine. Makes sense. Carefully. Carefully in the fine details, right? Meticulous in the details. Carefully. A meticulous is still carefully. DC. Makes sense, and that's our only example.
子
Oh no, no, I keep saying 子 仔细 the meticulous. No G's, just Z's. Actually, there are G's, but not these G's, just Z's. Meticulous. Okay, we're good.
羽毛、
羽毛、
子、
Ridiculous
为、
为 okay
晒黑、
晒黑 What? Oops.
腺
电体 The nucleus. A bore in a tree for nucleus. I guess a nuclear power plant is coming up at some point. Harry Potter is inside the electricity plant where there's a huge tree growing inside the. He goes over and starts using magic to bore into it. He extracts small nuclei or a small nucleus and puts it on the floor. It turns into a boar and starts chasing him around the generator. This is gonna be rough. Tell me this is nucleus first. Yeah, it's under nuclear power plant. I figured. 核电站 and then 核武器 makes sense. 核武器 nucleus. Oof. I guess I can't think of a way around this other than magic. A magic electricity plant, right? That works really wonky. It works by harvesting, let's just say it works by harvesting nuclei from trees, which they have a propensity to turn into bores. And then you check the bores in the generator. Use bores to power the electricity plant, I suppose. It's as whimsical as it can be.
和
This one's gonna be tough in the future.
西
See to analyze with an axe and a tree or a hoe. Okay. Alright, Xena is in front of the house where she is cutting down trees with a hoe or an axe. Each one cut down. She carefully analyzes its rings to see how old the tree is. She is also analyzing the fastest way to cut down trees with each. That's fine. This one's good. 分析 analysis intriguing 解析 I can see that too. Okay.
西灰
灰 for ashes. We have, what is that, armpit? Armpit fire? Oh no. The Hulk is in front of the beach house making a bonfire. He stands too close to it and his armpit hair catches on fire. He screams and grabs some sand and rubs it on the fire, putting it out. All that is left of his green armpit is a bunch of ashes. Honestly, that checks out. It's fine. 灰色 gray. Interesting. 灰色 ash colored. Makes sense. 石灰 lime. Oh. Wait. Like limestone, right? This is probably lime as in limestone. And 灰长. Oh wait. Is that not a deer? That's not a deer. Oh dear. Wait. It's dust. Interesting. Okay.
灰
Alright. I got you.
法
Fa. Alright, Fa. I see Zoro. Second time Zoro has ever come up. Okay. With a slide. Okay. Frodo is inside the lobby of the auditorium, slouched against the wall as he lacks lacks the energy to stand. Suddenly the ceiling opens up and Zoro slides down right next to Frodo and makes a Z on his back. Ugh. Frodo lacks the energy to even do anything in response. In fact, he also lacks money to even buy some snacks for the next play. Frodo, despite his brave adventures, seemed to lack not only energy but wealth and satisfaction. Poor Frodo. Okay, that's fine. I think that's fine. Whenever I picture like Zoro sliding down, all I could think about is what if that was Ren, from Persona 5. It's just styling on people. Okay. All right, we're good. To lack. I'm guessing there's also the other lack. Yep. Chue fa. Chue fa. To lack. Yep. There we go. And dull. Dull. To lack flavor? Oh, that's kind of cute. Fa wei. No, fa wei. Fa wei. Fa wei. Interesting. Yeah, lack flavor, like sauce. Lack spiciness, very dull. Okay.
法
Alright.
鸡
T muscle. Intriguing. Table on the moon. Jimmy Neutron is in front of the house, absolutely ripped with muscle from the experiment he did, looking almost like a monster. To test his strength, he grabs a huge boulder shaped like the moon and starts pounding away at it with his bare hands. Slowly but surely carves a table out of the moon-shaped rock with his muscles. And then the table is in the shape of a crescent moon too. Okay. I'll take it. Although there is a chance I might mix this up with Shi or Shrek. We'll see. Alright. Ji-ro. Oh my goodness. Ji-ro is muscle. Pretty sure chicken is the exact same thing. Oh, they didn't even add chicken on here. Jiro for chicken. Interesting. All right. Heart muscle. Yeah. Sing ji.
鸡和鸡西法 灰
All right. Pretty okay. All right. Let's try to lock in. Lock in.
去世
祖母去世2年了，
诚实
诚实的人不说谎，
静俗话
俗话说，万事起头难。
Wait, one 级万事体头难。Interesting.
日趋
他的演技日趋成熟。
That was a week before. Still remember it. For now.
总统
你听了总统的演讲吗？
What? Oh.
归还
我需要归还我的图书馆书籍。
统计
统计看起来不太好。
Unite plan.
公网络
连接到网络。
纯电源
没有电源的电脑是无用的。
默读
在图书馆里要默读。
缓无家可归
他的家被毁了，现在无家可归。
Wrong tone.
静默
静默是金。
Uh-oh. Yay. Yay. Wait. Oh.
图穷困
这个家庭十分穷困。
手
Supposed to be a cicada? What is that? Uh, those blanks. Uh, hmm. There aren't too many things that use that character. I use that radical. Yeah, I just don't. Oh,
待遇、
这家餐厅对客人的待遇很好。
or treat, or welcome, or host. I thought receive would be good enough, but maybe not.
伙伴、
他是一位商业伙伴。
Maybe like overall in summary. Hmm.
眼泪、
他用手帕擦眼泪。
What in the actual tarnation? How's all of this something? I want to say Zambonis, right? Yes. Okay.
素、
I don't. Encounter. It's encounter plus treat, so maybe like treat. Yeah. Okay. Treatment.
却是、
他很努力，却是没有得到好成绩。
Like to the extent of. Like even. Oh no, this is nevertheless. Nevertheless, yeah, that's fine. Nevertheless still works too. Like all of them still have very similar meanings when it comes like all this, but you still they still end up doing this anyways, to the extent of doing this. Like actually, after all, even if so many of them, I was gonna have to consolidate in the future. Hmm.
单、 压缩、
轮胎充满了压缩空气。
湿、
What? Wait, hold. I lost it. It's gone. Oh. In total? To sum up? In summary? Hmm. Oops, that's 4. Oh, that kind of threw me off. Oh, I missed the shy again.
线设置
请帮我设置一个提醒。
综合
综合考虑后，我们做出了决定。
Like to fit together in summary. Comprehensive. I hate comprehensive. It's like in total. I guess totally works too. Or wholly. Comprehensive is a little bit too particular.
“缩小
你能把这张图片的尺寸缩小吗？
Or reduce. Still fine.
弯腰
你可以弯腰拿那个吗？
业余
我是一个业余音乐家。
多余
别再做多余的工作了。
训练
运动员正在紧张训练。
杯细雨
雾渐渐变成了细雨。
晒太阳
在正午的太阳下晒太阳。
转弯
不要急转弯。
写读
I lost it. No. Okay. Just don't remember anymore. I don't see how the foot is related to the moon. That's so aggravating.
辣、
Hmm.
竹椅、
这把竹椅很轻便。
综上所述，
综上所述，这个计划需要更多时间。
Unite plan. Did I already? Yeah, statistics. Yo, statistics, we're blocking that out. We're blocking the heck out of that. Finance, economics, that stuff sucks hard, man. Oh. Hmm. Okay. So calculate things that unite patterns together, like unite numbers together, statistics. That stuff sucks. Like finance, economics, statistics, like subject matters like that suck really hard. They go beyond, they go like 2 or 3 layers beyond the fundamental things, which kind of makes sense because they're advanced disciplines, but it's like measure words. You just kind of end up using some rote memory. I might end up using the components, like the components to explain them as opposed to using the words, the characters themselves. The alternative is they're going to be used, statistics is going to be used in a manner that uses that combination really often. Yeah. It's like economics before it. You just have to get used to economics. And also, what was the other one? Things like politics, governance. Hmm. Oh, this one was fine, right? Yeah.
咸、
I still don't know what this one is still. Hmm. Yeah, this is from yesterday, so it's one of the suck ones. Yeah, this is the suckiest one. Yeah. It's Kermit the Frog again. Because it doesn't tie with anything. Moon-shaped trays. Yeah, so the foot has no attachment to the moon-shaped trays. He has to kick it. We have to make sure to keep in mind that he kicks it. Whatever the mnemonic that Kevin wrote, was not going to be any better. It was even more absurd. Let's see. This one's still okay. It's like there.
设、
I'm not gonna bother reviewing this stuff. That stuff's gonna have to come with rote memory and exposure. It's far too removed. Rote memory. Committed to rote memory. Hmm. Soil. Dirt. Hmm. Not that. Yeah, this is a block from yesterday too, right? Oh no, this isn't. This is a previous block. It's fine. Tian. No, Tian. Should have thought about it. The true. There is a relation between them already. And this has to be kicking the tray. You have to kick the tray. The moon-shaped tray. With your foot.
很
This has to be the dirty truth. The dirty truth is what's gonna carry us here.
甜 奶奶
奶奶今天没有出门。
竹叶
熊猫喜欢吃竹叶。
And then for statistics is to unite all calculations. A discipline to unite calculations.
衣服
他每天都穿一样的衣服。
And this one sucks too. Luti.
陆地
能
Just
回到陆地
Lou.
上真是太好了。
Just Lu isolated sucks. Lu isolated. No. Most of the dirt ones are not great. I think dirt is a weak component. Dirt might be like top 5, along with shellfish, page, shellfish, page, mouth. Yeah. Hills is kind of bad. And it's not really bad as in like there's something really complicated about them. It's more like they occur a lot of time, a lot. So you have to keep expanding.
诗句
那是我最喜欢的诗句。
Verse? Poem? Verse? That's probably verse.
维他命
水果是天然的维他命来。
燃烧
燃烧的木炭很热。
静 下午
今天下午会下雨。
Huh.
雀
I think I typed the wrong tone there.
遇到
我在街上遇到了他。
Oh, I typed the wrong tone for the first one.
基础，
一家新公司的基础。
东西，
东西贵了。
侧，
Oops. Yeah, 次. I gotta think about that. Okay.
丝，刺耳，
刺耳的声音让人难以忍受。
Okay. So what happened here? I thought it was... Oh. Wait. Oh. Okay. So... I don't know what's going on here. Did I not type that the second time? Huh. It's what I think it is. I don't know why. I thought I typed ang or ung.
阻力，
船会在水中受到阻力。
呼救，
如果你被困住了，就呼救。
For help. Yeah, that's fine. Oops. That's tone 1.
超，
Jesus. Oh. Wait. Chao. Oh, that's copy.
促销，
这本书今天开始促销了。
注销了。Don't remember the... Remember the spark in the metal thing? For Xena. Like urge, promote. Okay. Oh, spend. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. It's good enough. Close enough.
赶忙，
That's close enough too.
严，稳，
Why am I thinking of that and thinking of two different things? Oops.
"数据，
我们需要更多数据。
胖子，
那个胖子很喜欢吃甜食。
盖子，
这个盖子很重。
翻脸，
他突然翻脸了。
禁止，
公园禁止吸烟。
Stop is fine.
外汇，
他在外汇交易方面有丰富经验。
方向盘，
方向盘上的按钮。
That's an annoying block too. Dollhouse, aquarium, and spray. Why do I think it's... No. It's not that. It's not that either. This is a hiccup. It's the same one. Fine. It sucks standalone. It doesn't suck with another vocabulary word. In a vocabulary word. Today is kind of a mixed bag. What is that? 3 or 4 now? That's just a hiccup. What? Okay. Yeah, like that's fine.
导演，
他导演了那部电影。
Outside, converge.
“使劲，
他使劲地拉着绳子。
看见，
我能看见你的脸。
What? It's not that. It's war, right? It's Cold War. But I lost where the boombox comes in. Albert. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on this as well. It's Jiang, yeah. It is exactly what I think it is, but I don't know where the boombox comes in. What does the boombox have to do with anything? Oh, it's because the whole thing is a list. Oh, okay. That's where I lost it. I couldn't figure out what the heck this is. Why, but the whole thing is a list. The list is not just this. I thought this was the list. But it's the two things in the top two.
骑士，
勇敢地骑士，
冷战，
这是一部关于
退休，
他2年前退休了。
演，雾，支流，
黄河的一条支流，
气化，
他在企划部门工作。
月，
Okay.
人工，
这是一个人工花园。
浅显，
这个问题很浅显。
Tian is really bad. Tian is fine. Tian is pretty bad. That was a really loose guess. The flailing with the water, spraying it everywhere. But it's curvy.
Go.
That one's pretty bad too.
机票，
一张飞往台北的机票。
股，多少，
这个要多少钱？
It's more and more and more. That's to oh, they decide to use to pass through. It's more and more. I don't use it as yeah. Yeah is not commonly used as but what do we have to fly across? Oh, we could use hey yeah. Okay, fair enough. My prototypic is yeah, like yeah, not passing something.
现金，
我用现金付款。
不易，
跟他相处可不易。
奋力，
他奋力学习，考取了第1名。
晴空，
美丽的晴空，
Sunny sky, which is still sunny. Sky is implied. Oh, woo. Just pictured a mnemonic. No.
看法，
你的看法不一定对。
天桥，
这条天桥通往市中心。
岭，色，
Oh, man-made? That's man-made.
即使，
即使你讨厌甜食，你也会喜欢这个。
Okay.
诗人，
It's even if, provided you even do that, right? Provided you do that, I'm still going to do something. It's the same thing. Provided, even if. 即使. Wait. Uh,
定位，
我今天打电话给餐厅定位。
序，
what?
当兵，
当兵是一种义务。
Something's not right here. I think oh, Zhuang. Should have paused a little bit there.
肥肉，
有些人喜欢吃肥肉。
Oops. And then, of course, I fat finger 2 instead of 3. Instead of hitting 3. Hmm.
律师，
他是世界上最好的律师。
Or did I? No.
通
That's an old one.
迷你
迷你碗、
And then what happened here? Order?
虫网址
这是我们的新网址。
武装
武装斗争，
Is it like arms instead of what? Uniform? Probably arms.
府陈
That was a weak one. Armed. What? Excuse me? Oh, I typed 2 instead of 1. Um,
中世纪
中世纪是欧洲的一个重要时期。
what the? Oh. Wait. Oh, 睛眼睛. My gut feelings are so bad today. So bad. I do have that character. Oh. Now I don't know it. Oh no. I have no idea. Few eyes. What is that? What does that have anything to do with? It's not. Why do I want to type like Mao Qian or something like that? Or Miao Qian?
温度
温度降到-20°。
That deserves that is no
眼睛
contest.
我的眼睛好痒。
乙
Like yeah, this is a complete block. Sheng. Oh, economic. Oh, this is the eyeball thing. Yeah, Sheng is super weak. Yeah, that's super weak. I wonder how many words I have on that. I think 2, maybe. Using that character. Yeah, that one's really weak. All the other ones I had something to play off of, or I knew enough that I would get to the answer with time.
逛，省钱，
在这里生活很省钱。
Or to be economical.
需，
Like requirements. Or have to. Require is another one.
酸，
Alright, let's throw some more onto this boat of garbage today. Garbage feelings. What feels like garbage today? 多少衣服看见下午奶奶东西人工 construction is man-made. It's constructed, it's man-made. 人工 it still has that meaning. I'm not too concerned about that. 现金 fine. 迷你退休治疗 How do I 治疗 myself? Oh, tributary. 不义不义 it's fine. 去世 that's fine too. Surprisingly, 去世 晴空 fair enough. And then there's 省钱 省 is the only problem. 看去 or 看法 perspective 看法温度眼睛机票通 that's tone communicate 测补to pass. I gotta make sure pass is pretty useful regardless if it comes up in the vocabulary in a different way. Yeah, right. And 需 which is have to but need and require is fine. Foreign exchange got lost a little bit. Why 会 can't see that very well. Oh, that's 奋力计时 can be a little lost even if, but I think it's just provided. 计时 this one took a bit to plan. 计划 so the only way I knew was plan is because it's related to the other plan for 画 like 计划 for plan, but 气 is really just gross. It's tiptoe. They use tiptoe and tiptoe is just not good enough. I think it should stay on plan. Yeah, that's how I got plan. I just treat it as plan. Tiptoe is not good. I don't know where tiptoe is coming in. I'm guessing tiptoe is tiptoe at some point. is tiptoe. No, it's not. So I don't really know why it's tiptoe at all. I have no idea what plan is the most. I mean, even this, like, tiptoe penguin, tiptoe bird ish, I guess. I have no idea. Oh, it's because it's related to done. I don't know how I feel about that. Making one character related to another character. It's plan. This is just plan. That's how I got this answer, even though it was loose, because I had to change over. So whenever I heard tiptoe, I hear plan. That's the extra step. 律师中中世纪 That's okay. 中世纪骑士天桥导 Oh yeah, 导演 Yen is the other one. Yen is the second one. Which is perform. It's a hiccup. Sometimes yen works, sometimes it doesn't. In vocabulary, yen will always come out because the other thing creates that performance. Yen is it's a supplement. Yen tends to be a supplement. 基础基础 That's fine. This one kinda got lost. Mung gets lost every once in a while. Why does it get lost? I think of Wang sometimes. And what is Wang? Yeah, I think of Wang sometimes. Which the only thing that connects them is actually death. That's the only thing. Oh, I know why they're connected. Because both of them are ball in Japanese, I think. Let me see. Or maybe not. Yes, ball and yeah, they're both ball. That's why I think they're connected. In Japanese, the onyomi is ball for both. I think that's fine. I don't think it's too bad. Gang was the one that I'm a little worried about earlier. Data was okay, actually. 数据 Usually data goes with statistics. Oh, statistics is the other problem, huh? But that's new, right? 维他命 Fine. I don't concern myself with new ones. Summary, what was the other one? Yeah. Oh, that's amateur. It was something 和 silk. 中和 is comprehensive, right? Comprehensive. That's the only one for the new ones. Yes. I forgot not purchase. Something else. Yeah, when it went downhill, it went downhill. Like, was it? 醋. This one. 促销. I forgot 销 momentarily, which was spend. 促销. This is relatively new. These are relatively new. So anything from Journeyman 1. 陆地, I'm always concerned about Lu. Guy is a little weak, and Guy's a 使劲. That's fine. Where is it? Lay. 盈类. Wait, is that 盈类? No. Yes. Wait. What? Oh, yeah, Tears. Tears is, yeah, it's medium. Treatment? 大玉. Oh, Yu was almost lost. It was so close to being lost. 放香. Han was really almost lost too. Qian was almost lost. Some of these are rough. Man. Zhi was fine. Danbing. Where is it? What did I say it was? Order. Wuzhuang. Wuzhuang was a little bit of a miss. Ding can be lost. I have so many like slightly on the outer edge. It was statistics. Where is statistics at? Statistics was what? Unite and calculate. Tongji, which is new, right? Tongji, there it is. Tongji. I'm not gonna worry about that. So let's add Qian. Qian. Lu. Han. Chormang. And that's good. So definitely above, like two blanks, which is really abnormal. And then like 6 weak ones, so that's abnormal. That's a little high. It feels like I was beating against a wall today because of how much higher it is. Alright. We'll write them out. Statistics. It's like finances. Finance and economics. You just gotta crush it out. Crush it out until it's stuck. Alright, let's see how today's went. I think the roughest stuff is typically in the middle. Journeyman, like in the middle. So there's always a spread because of the way lessons work. And anything in the middle around the 3 month, or not 3 month, 1 month to 2 month period is the roughest. And then if it get past the 1 month, 2 month, then the stuff is pretty good because you can like find enough things to bring it back. And usually the newest ones are easier ones. They're short term. Short term tends to be pretty quick, despite being a little complicated recently. Child, Slenderman. Oh, this one's kind of gross. 子之那子之之 way. This is attached the other way, so it's fine. Oh, this one's rough. Who's super whimsical? Yeah, we're gonna. Is gnarly. Is very gnarly, and it's very specific use too. I wonder if there are any other uses of I almost feel like reminds me of Adam. So there's 9 of vocabulary, I think. I'm pretty sure there's more uses than the one that was cited, like nuclear power plant and nuclear energy. There's probably atom. This is probably used for atom as well, or some sort of subatomic particle physics related term character. It's not in HanziHero at the moment. I think we're gone to the point where exploring other words and putting words into HanziHero is probably the way to alleviate some of these usages. Which we'll do before the year's end. This one could get lost too. G. C. Ba. Way. Some of these are really loose. Save me. Just taking a look at. There's still some familiar ones. I still see some familiar ones that are available, but I think, yeah, we're getting to the part. Here's another familiar one. I'm definitely feeling where, if it wasn't for Japanese, I wouldn't know these characters. Like this one, this one, this one, this one. Oh yeah, we're getting into a territory where largely almost all of them is going to test. It's gonna test this whatever I got going on, how good my mind palace works. Gotta strap in the next half of this month. Wait. Well, we have less than half the year left. I didn't mean to say month, I meant year. We have less than half the year left. That's when we start hitting some some stuff that I will largely have no idea. Shu ce. 羽毛球，喵，羽毛球，羽毛，yeah, 羽毛球。 羽毛球。黑眼。Not bay. It doesn't make any sense. 丝。Oh no, wait. That doesn't make any sense either. 委员会。No, that doesn't sound right either. 委员会。委员。指甲。指甲。指甲。指甲。指甲。指甲。手册。I'm thinking how far I'm gonna get before I think I might actually pause, review what I got, and then start integrating something that will help me explore more vocabulary, as opposed to constantly pushing for more characters. I think I'm hitting a bit of diminished return with characters. I need more vocabulary to work with. The mnemonic groups are pretty good. So every time I'm learning these characters, there's another character and another thing tied to the existing characters that are in Chinese. So that's kind of been a blessing in disguise at the moment. Kind of trying to wrap my head around how I can use that. Even. 在课。扩声扩音。扩音器。以及以及羽毛晒黑像什么？像极。Okay. It's gonna be something else. I think this part, if I had to make a prediction, 2026, when I start contextually applying some of these things, I think it's gonna be the far more quote unquote less effort than this. I think this is easily one of the harder things if I had to make a prediction. Like doing this stuff is rigorously. It's kind of, I guess it might be a little bit ironic for those who like to learn this way, which I actually think the internet makes the people who grew up on the internet learns information like this most of the time, as opposed to like learning based on your relation, like your conceptual understanding around the topic. Like what's a great way to illustrate this? Like how people play video games. When they approach a video game, they immerse in the system that the video game has and treat it as an isolated thing. Rarely do they break the fourth wall and bring in legacy knowledge. And if there is legacy knowledge, it's always through intuition and not a higher thinking. And not that higher thinking is better. It's just the layers are more complex in the sense that when someone plays a video game, they don't fully aware and consciously see the video game as something of a continuation of the skills they have. They see mechanics and whatnot as the most approachable form of legacy because it deals with intuition. So, for example, when you're playing a video game, sometimes when I ask someone, hey, like, what's the story so far? They're like, well, and they would be readily able to remember the story in which the game they're playing currently. But when I ask them, like, so how does this tie in with the previous game? It would be a blank space. It would be very broken up. Like the information would be lost. So oftentimes I feel that's what the internet has conditioned people to learn this way. This way is a very efficacious way. And then it's down to root repetition that ingrains something into the person. This is probably one of the hardest things I've done in a long time to do this. The other stuff to remember things is far more compelling, right? Like build a story in which you learn all the words in that story. Read a book that has a story in which you are so engrossed in it, you can connect it to all the other stories that's related to the current story. You know, talk about a topic and then use all the experiences you have to talk about the topic, not just the topic itself. So it's interesting to think that how one grows up and acquires information can affect how one encodes that information, or even affect or incentivize what skills you have. I think retention is like so in demand right now. If you are going to sell something like an app, for example, like SRS, the one thing you can sell really well to a growing audience with money to spend and not necessarily the critical thinking skills to improve upon it themselves is anything that guarantees retention. And for me, this is gnarly way of trying to get retention. It's pretty gnarly. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, I suppose, I would say this is among one of the more popular methods, which I can definitely see the attraction. I think some part of my brain is a bit internet brained too, having used the internet. Like people give you information and they explain all the information to you, so you're never having to make the connections ever. And when you like listen to someone yap about something, it's always viewed in isolation with no critical thinking involved. And I'm not talking about like older people or individuals who spend more time out being raised but prior to the internet. Nowadays the internet is that you don't require critical thinking to make connections, and that critical thinking and problem solving skills allow you to connect ideas that seemingly are unconnected or not connected to each other to be able to connect them, and that creates retention, right? Like, what does HanziHero have anything to do with Duolingo? You connect them. I would say if you give an 18-year-old Duolingo and then suddenly they hate it, then they are more likely to forget everything in Duolingo when they go and use like Wanikani. And then when they hate Wanikani and they go and use Anki, they probably forget most of the things they learned through Wanikani or Duolingo before that, and then embrace that Anki is the only platform that allowed them to retain something. It's always the current thing. You don't carry the experience with you. There's no connection between them. And this is kind of like that too. Like within HanziHero, stuff are kind of disjointed. They are not connected with each other, right? Despite, well, it's less disjointed. It's helping to undisjoint the stuff. So, unlike Wanikani, I think Wanikani has some connections. It's not that great. I think it's a little bit worse in that department, right? In HanziHero, because of the mnemonic system, which I'm about to go over, it connects them fairly well. The mnemonic groups is a incredibly rudimentary way, but approachable. It's an approachable way to connect a way of thinking to a lot of things, you know, to scale up. And Wanikani does it too. That's why the whole like breaking down radicals and building up into characters, which then characters build up into words, is approachable. It's a very efficient. It's like a very this isn't meant to be bad. It's a very simplified way of connecting ideas together so that it feels like when you're learning a lot of things, it involves a lot of similar thought processes. But you can build upon that. You can definitely build upon that. I think so much is relied on intuition that it's very compelling because most people don't think anymore, in my opinion. And what I mean by think, they don't think in an abstraction. Abstraction is efficient. You don't connect things despite they don't have a literal connection. They have to be intuitively connected in order to be useful. So if you can appreciate the connection between a sentence and a paragraph, then learning from sentence and paragraph is useful. If you can't appreciate that connection, then they'll stay disconnected. There's no way for you to conceptually connect them. And I'm not talking to any particular person, the hypothetical person that I'm about. Like when you watch a streamer, right? When you watch, I don't know, your favorite Call of Duty streamer, and then you watch a Fortnite streamer, what I interpret a lot of times when talking to people is that they're two separate things. There's no connection between them because one's playing Call of Duty and one's playing Fortnite. So you can't possibly have any connections between them. Your memory with the Fortnite streamer and your memory with the Call of Duty streamer requires that you actively associate the details between them or differentiate between them in order to retain what happened, right? But no, instead, nowadays, when you doom scroll through something, they're all connected, but they're all connected in a way that you don't remember any details anymore. Like I can't tell you how often I ask some of the new goobers around, like, oh, what did you think about the movie? It was alright. Can you tell me anything that happened in the movie? I saw the movie too. What kind of event do you like in it? It's like, I don't know. It was just fine. Like, do you remember any of the details? Like, how do you go about remembering details? Well, a lot of times it's in intuition. If something was really sucked, they probably remember that. If something was super hyped, they probably remember that. But abstractly, most of the stuff is isolated. they go on to watch the next movie and they probably forgotten the last movie, despite the movies being sequels, right? So then you have movies now, or like TV shows and movies now, that a new fad is coming back, which is to recap, right? But hear me out. When they try to recap things, the people who don't remember most things believe that they do know the things because they generalize it. So you don't often remember details anymore. Which here, I guess that's one of the difficulties that SRS has. Every detail may be important because there's not much detail here. Right. You can add as much detail as possible and then strip it down to just the necessary details in order to get your results. So in a long run, if you learn just enough without adding more details, then you never practice, or you don't end up practicing and getting used to adding detail where there isn't any. And that's why I feel there's a large number of people who say they're not creative enough to use mnemonics to remember things. That's interesting. I think that's a little bit disheartening. It's disconcerting that one of the gifts of being human is you can create abstractions without it literally having to make sense even, right? It makes sense when you make sense of it. More on that in the future. I think this topic of creativity, like construction, right? Using constructive creativity to reinforce retention and application, right? Construction is a form of application of what you learn. Regardless if it's literally useful or naturally useful, it doesn't matter, in my opinion. You can find application regardless if it's have a use case or not. You can use it to retain things. So making silly analogies and associations are things that are incredibly efficacious to you, whether it's natural or not. You can still make use of it. I think focusing on anything that has to literally happen is restricting a human being to not be creative, right? And that is perfectly sufficient in a pragmatic world if you want to live pragmatically for the rest of your life. The final stage for me when it comes to do I understand things is that I can abstractly create things whether or not someone else has created it, right? And if I can form associations between things that other people don't usually see, that's when you get that feedback of, oh, I'm starting to grasp it to a level that now I can wield it. I can use it for application. And we're kind of getting there. I think the next 4 or 5 months, most of it is going to be constructive. Like most of my energy, my excess energy is constructing stuff. So I have to encourage myself to construct. If I have a problem, construct a solution with the systems information that I have. It isn't going back and rereading the same things. Rereading the same things only get you so far, because yes, that's literally the thing they wrote, but you can do more than that. At least I think most people can. I certainly can do more than that, and that's where the extra efforts can go in. It takes the least amount of effort to read someone else's work, right? And it takes a lot of effort at first, right? At least at first compared to later down the road when you're used to it. But then you need to do more, right? Where's the extra effort gonna come from? if you've gotten tired or think that you got the handle of things. The less and less effort you place in, the more and more passive you become. Then you start losing application, right? When you become intermediate or even advanced, you may decide never to develop that skill anymore. Then you enter maintenance, and maintenance is only as good as the person's enthusiasm. For example, English. I genuinely believe that English decreases in level after someone stops using it for education. I think statistically, I don't have, like, if I were to wager something, if I were able to data mine something, I would say overall people's language comprehension will dip lower than their graduation competence, because it's easier to simplify and groom and finalize if you stop learning. So I often say that most people, especially English speakers, that I'm surrounded anecdotally, their English is lower than the high school level that they graduated with, because you would become more and more efficient if you stop learning a language. And to become more efficient, you throw out the things you don't need. So you know less. You know less over time when you stop learning something, because there's no application for it anymore. The application for most people is that they learn something to get something, right? So in high school, you had to learn and continuously expand the use of your native language in order to get a good grade. That good grade is an application for getting a career, right? So if you remove that motivation, you would begin to practice whatever you have learned, and you only keep the things that are useful. So most of the things that you don't find useful are gone. So inherently, if you stop learning at any time, you also know less. You might become more efficient at the things you retain, but efficiency means that you're less comprehensive, right? You gotta groom and trim all the extra stuff. Now, I think the internet has trimmed out many more things. The internet has trimmed out creativity, right? You no longer need to be creative if you just assume someone else is more creative than you and they've already made the creative solution. So there's not even a reason to do something when you say to yourself, someone else probably have already done it. Let's just go look so I don't have to do it, right? Kind of like this would be my last hot take for today. People already use SRS and it didn't work for everyone. So I think I won't use SRS to see what happens, because there are already people who believe it doesn't work. So that's enough for me. And then there are others who say, oh, I heard that some people believe it does work. So that's good enough for me. And then, you're looking for the ideal thing, right? So, and there's no critical thinking in suggesting if something is correct or not, or accurate or not. You just need a compelling, persuasive person to convince you with enough buzzwords that you've retained in your life. So if you exit high school and you have no retention or use of, say, biochemistry, and then you go online and you hear someone throw biochemical words around when it comes to this miracle nutritional supplement that they have, then that's good enough for you. Emotionally, it's good enough for you. You can intuit the trust by how that person portrays their personality, and it's not predicated on the knowledge that you once had, because you no longer practice to maintain it, right? Because there's no application for it. I think information is information, but creative thinking and problem solving is an entirely different skill that with information, you don't necessarily need that skill anymore. And that's one of the biggest, in my opinion, that's one of the biggest signs that if I had to rely on someone personally, and not to say that I can't be friends with anyone that doesn't fit this, but I rely on people who can solve problems, right? I'm terrible at asking for help, but if I were going to ask someone for help, it would be someone who can creatively solve problems, not someone who can read off someone else's solution to me. I think the reason for that is I think whoever can creatively solve a problem already has the skills to read information and even apply that information. Someone who only reads information and passes on information is very either incapable or poorly practiced in applying that information. So if you're gonna get information or you're asking someone for help, you probably, in my opinion, ask someone who has more experience. How can you tell the difference between experience and information? Experienced people, ironically, maybe to those who are inexperienced, wouldn't admit that they know everything, because experience will probably tell them that they didn't know everything. I think individuals who lack experience tend to be the ones who are more readily going to say they know everything, and they're telling you the truth or the facts and all the important facts, and they simplify everything to the point where it's very obvious that they don't have any experience in solving problems, right? Like you go up to someone like a super genius, talented sports person, and they're like, how do you get so accurate at kicking? You just kick. They don't have to solve problems if they're very good at it intuitively, right? If they've never encountered a problem because they're a superstar from day one, they're probably still terrible at helping people solve their problems because they never solved problems themselves, right? So you can still be a superstar, a success story, live and do no wrong. If you don't encounter any problems, then you don't know how to solve problems either, right? So that's kind of one of those telltale signs. It doesn't mean that other person don't know what they're doing or or they're not successful. Successful people can be terrible people at solving problems if they never encountered problems. However, those are far in the rare case, like far statistically rarer. Someone who is just talented to the point where they can't even explain the problems. An experienced person will provide an example of obstacles that they overcome in detail. And then they use that experience to try to get an empathy with your problem so that they can tell you, I have a similar problem that you have. This is how I went about it. And then this is also where my problem and your problem is a little different. So perhaps thinking about my approach, but also modifying it to this difference will help you, right? What's not considered experience? When someone comes up to you and tells you what's the best, and they shared nothing about their own experience. Like, not even their own opinions about that opinion. They will just tell you, this is the best. Okay, so how do you know that? It's like, well, people say this is the best. You have no experience. Those are people I would likely respect their own decisions and rights, however they go about it, but I personally would not ask them for help because they're not in it to help people. Just even if they tell me, oh, I care about you, like, well, respectfully, you do not have the skills to help me. right? You do not have the experience to help me. Still can be friends, and they can still be really successful, right? Like, if you want someone to help you with chronic impulsive debt, you hope that there is someone who is successful and have overcome that problem. Otherwise, obviously, you can still accept someone's help. It's just not as ideal. Right? And the last thing about this little digression is, in the end of the day, there is one person you can rely on that is always really, really close to all the problems you have. Yourself. So, going back to the initiation of digression, I noticed that there's a lot of things that are becoming problems. Or things that I need to double down on. So I'm gonna work on that in the next 100, the next 100 days before the review. And it's gonna deal with construction. So we're gonna go back now and finish our session here. Okay, so wait, is this Zelda? Yes, this is Zelda. So Zelda, or maybe we can do like Zelda is in the basement. Zelda goes to the chills in the basement with Slenderman's kids, right, in her house. With Slenderman's kids. How's that work? Oh. Slenderman's kids. Oh, they're Slenderman's kids, so they like being in the dark. Maybe Zelda has like a cool entertainment basement, right? And she is doing what with Slenderman's kids? She's analyzing. Oh, she's meticulous. So she's meticulously making sure that all the kids are doing all right, as befitting of a princess, right? So maybe etiquette, meticulously teaching them proper etiquette while they're hanging out in the basement. This one's rough, to say the least. Walter White is in the living room of the beach house where he's chilling, he's vibing, taking a break from his exploits. So he's just chilling, really lounging around, he's lounging around so much that he decided to have something to eat, but he couldn't be bothered. And right now, all he has is some turkey. He only has some turkey left. So he's munching some. Munching is going to be associated with mouth. I'm not going to say mouth anymore. Just anything with a mouth is an activity. So eating is activities. This radical. So he's just eating some turkey. That's all he had in the fridge while he was lounging around. Okay. We have Hulk. Is this Hulk? No, this is Harry Potter. Oh, this is whimsical. So Harry Potter is in the generator room, or in the middle, right, inside the electric plant, where the generator is like some magical generator, and this magical generator harvests nuclei from trees. These nuclei are in the shape of pigs. Like, that's all I got. I think that's good enough. Maybe like pig spirits or something. Spirit energy. I have no idea where I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so Jimmy Neutron. This one okay. This one's pretty okay. Jimmy Neutron is outside, have rushed outside of the house where he is going to test his newfound muscles from his experiments. So he decided to pick up a moon-shaped rock and start hammering and shaping the rock into a table. Right. It's good enough. Maybe reenacting a scene from what he saw in the MCU. Alright. So we have Xena. Yeah, Xena in outside of her house doing her own analysis. So she's analyzing, let's just say she's analyzing the passage of time by cutting down trees, or cutting trees with a hoe or an axe to examine the rings, which just checks out really well. This one checks out really well. Okay. Because it's kind of like an old age way of doing things. Okay. Then we have Frodo, who's trying to relax from after his journey, right? So he decided to go to the auditorium to enjoy a performance, maybe a performance of Lord of the Rings, or a reenactment, like a bard's tale of his exploits. But he lacks a lot of energy from his long journey. Meanwhile, a heckin' goober, I guess occupied the same world, heckin' goober Zorro came down on a slide from above, right? From above, and decided to, like, Zorro doobie Zorro things. Decide to bug Frodo, which like slicing his emblem onto him or something. And Frodo can't be bothered because he's just completely lacking energy from all his tribulations. And the auditorium could be like an atrium of an amphitheater or something. You know, old age stuff in my mind. Let's see. And then now we have Hulk. Hulk is outside of the house, of the beach house actually, of the beach house. Bruce Banner style, trying to enjoy a bonfire, right? Trying to enjoy the bonfire. But he got too close and he started, he set his armpit hair on fire. So he quickly tried to put it out. What remains are ashes. Right? Womp womp. Alright. So now let's see if I remember the 6 characters for today. After some gap. Shang. No, Shang. Which Shang is? It's economic. Cool. Shrek. Apartment. Shang. That looks gross. Let's try again. It's good enough. No. And few eyes is because he was eating eyeballs, right? Pickled eyeballs. Eating pickled eyeballs. There are a few, so he had to economize. To save some fancy eyeballs. Fish manner. Tasty fish eyeballs, maybe. Yen. Yen was Right. And that is to perform. Okay. And then we have 钱. 钱 is right. 钱. Shallow. This is where Kirby is being a pep. Kirby's kind of short, so what was considered shallow is probably pretty high. Kirby went down to the pawn shop. There was some leaks spraying everywhere, so there's some shallow pool of water. So he decided what a great idea is to grab a flail and just start scooping and flailing and spraying water everywhere. You know, you just have to imagine a very clumsy Kirby going around doing that. And Lee is right. Lee, which is land. This is where Luke Skywalker got Jedi mind tricked as he's trying to go to the bathroom, where he imagined like soil and hills of his like maybe his Tatooine homeland, you know, his home like Tatooine's surface and whatnot, and he's like moving around as he walks through with his legs. He can feel the dirt and the sand and land brush against his body, that kind of thing. Jedi mind trick. This one's kind of rough. That's why it's tough. And then Pan. Pan is that last stroke. It's bad. So Pan. This is a tray. This is where Patrick is in the pawn shop where he found a vintage missile ship, and then he started like messing around and he accidentally broke some plates, some vintage plates. So on a tray he wrote sorry and left some money, right, as he was working there for the damages. And then we have Meng. This is busy. And Meng, spirit and death. I actually don't remember what busy is for. So Meng, it would be Mario. Oh yeah, Mario is in the chapel. It's in the atrium of the chapel, and he's busy taking care of death, fending off death and souls. Right, shooting fireballs everywhere. You know, booze, lots of booze and whatnot. It's a Mario thing. It's good enough. In the chapel. There we go. And as always, for myself to iterate the mnemonics, especially HanziHero's mnemonics. I think Wanikani's mnemonics need we might do something about that in the future. HanziHero's mnemonics are very useful because the extra step allows me to write the character. So, and writing characters is an output that I use to form and constructively create new ways of remembering the mnemonics. So in the future, my constructive mnemonics will be for Wanikani to, as well as HanziHero, is take the vocabulary word, and as I'm writing the components, I can attach the components and the radicals back to their meaning. So any particular ones that are incredibly difficult or very nuanced, like it requires two more intricacies, being able to recreate stuff through writing and stuff like that can give me inspirations for how to turn the meaning around or weave my own story with the way writing happens. And I have met a couple people who are more intuiting the benefits or intuiting how writing can help with their retention. So sometimes I hear people share like, oh, for whatever reason, writing helps them retain what the character is and what the meaning is. And oftentimes that is an intuitive process. For myself, I'm trying to not only make it intuitive process, but make it also a creative process, like a conscious process. And I think people who like writing can also do that too, in some way, shape, or form, if they so please. But writing is, in my opinion, not just a mechanical output, which I feel has become the new age thing for efficiency seekers, efficiency language learning seekers, a shortcut to things. Like, oh, writing is a waste of time because you do not feel like it's beneficial since you never write. That's perfectly fine. That's an acceptable, pragmatic, logical conclusion. If you don't like writing, if writing does not create a creative process, it does not trigger any form of critical feedback loop that's either intuitive or conscious, you have no application for it. Without application, there's no critical thinking or problem solving, right? So inherently, it would not produce retention. Not learning, it's a very different thing. I totally understand when people say writing does not help you speak. That is a learning thing, right? When you're literally writing, it may not necessarily translate at all to speaking, because those are fields of input. Like, how do you improve speaking? Input the parts that deal with speaking. However, retention is very different. Retention is weaving all of it together. So when you're trying to remember something, the more you're able to weave everything together, the more likely you'll remember it for life, right? It's one of those things, if you don't use it, you lose it. So any form of output that deals with the application of what you learned will enhance retention. So we're not talking about learning, we're talking about memory, right? And I don't think there's enough time or enough resolution for people to discern between what promotes their retention versus learning. Oftentimes, the shortest way to explain something is when you're learning, you're also remembering. I think that's, to me, is a slight disservice. There are many things you do that doesn't help you learn something, but it does greatly help you memorize something, like 80-20. And one of them is writing. And another would be creative writing. But what is more creative in the beginning stages for someone who is learning a new language that uses new representation? Literally writing the new thing is part of the learning process and retention, right? You're no longer writing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're no longer using Roman characters. You're using kanji or Hanzi. And that early stage writing is a great collective of learning and applying what you learn. So it can be another tether for retention. But you have to enjoy the writing. You have to be actively involved in the writing, much like you have to be actively learning your vocabulary. If you don't enjoy writing, forcing yourself to write is, of course, a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have no established enthusiasm or association or application. If you don't believe there's a use for writing, then there isn't going to be one. Now, it's not the same. I'm not saying the same thing as you don't learn kanji without writing. You can learn kanji without ever writing kanji. You can learn kanji, Hanzi, without ever writing Hanzi. Learning. But we're talking about retention, right? HanziHero is a little different. I get to learn every single day. Wanikani, I don't. So I spend even more time thinking about ways to apply Wanikani's strategy than HanziHero. And then at the same time, HanziHero also keeps learning new characters. I'm not going over old characters. So how do you retain old characters even more so than the SRS? Like, yes, I know some people are like, well, isn't the whole point of SRS is supposed to remind you just enough times to learn something? It's like, yes, it is. It's supposed to it's designed in a way that you spend the least amount of time practicing, not learning, practicing, so you remember those things. But what are you going to do with those things you remember? What's going to happen when you stop using the tool? You're going to forget, because in my opinion, you haven't used the time that it liberated to want to use the things you learned, right? So the moment you stop using the SRS, it's gonna be, okay, so what do I do next? What am I gonna do? I'm kind of stuck. Like, I'm intermediate high level now, but I have no use for this stuff. I'm like, what can I do to keep it in line and continue to progress? Well, you can't answer that. Lots of people can't answer that question anymore because it's application. You're at the application stage, right? That's like going to college and going to graduate school. After that, you're transitioning into applying all the information you're using. You're not just learning anymore. You're learning to practice. You're learning to apply the things. And what does application teach you? Critical thinking and problem solving skills. Now you don't have a bunch of right facts or correct facts that are constantly thrown at you, and then you just need to memorize it and then forget the things you don't want to use. That's beginner level. That's pre-intermediate. And it still applies to language learning. It applies to most things actually, but in terms of language learning, some people might think, oh, language learning is a little different from learning science. It's like, no, it isn't, in my opinion. There are fundamentals. You learn the fundamentals because they're clarified, easy. It's verbatim a lot of times for learning. It's memorization. But when the moment you want to retain that information, you, in my opinion, a lot of people decide after it's probably not trying to be too deterministic, but it's probably already too late if you haven't decided how to apply while you're learning the things. Why do I think it's probably too late? It's probably because you don't even expect to apply it. Right? When you're in high school, you hate math. You have already decided you don't want to apply math. Someone can hate math, find applicational, have a teacher or a friend show them what math can do for them, and they can learn even to love math despite hating math at first. So when you're alone and self-studying and you're asking yourself, oh yeah, I don't like writing the language, it's like, that's part of the language. So you're not interested in the language in that way. That's fine. Now go use it somewhere else. Okay, so now you got to go read some books. It's like, well, I don't like reading books. I just like doing SRS, right? Maybe I'll just wait until my SRS is complete to read books. That's loss of another application, right? Writing is an application of a language. Speaking is an application of a language. And we're not talking about learning new words to say or learning new words to write. We're talking about writing words that you already know, speaking words that you already know. That is retention. And it's retention that you can use to form your own application over time. If you do less, you are inspired less to do things. You become less creative, less and less creative, to the point where you be asking strangers, hey, what do you think would interest me in using Japanese? And my first question that I would ask them is, what do you find interesting right now? And that person would say something like, well, I like when people talk about underwater basket weaving. Go and do that. Explain to people why underwater basket weaving is interesting to them in the target language that you have learned. If you find out that you can't express all of that, there's your application to learn more things. Like, since you're intermediate, right, you have enough things to talk about your interests. Now, all the problems you're going to encounter trying to do that is going to give you your next step. That is your next step. You have answered your own question. You yourself know where to go to find application. I know where I'm going immediately after all of this. In fact, I've been alluding to that. I think my Chinese and my Japanese by the end of the second year, like 2026 is going to be a year of application. We're going to find all the things that are interesting to me. The first thing I'm probably going to do before the end of the year for Chinese, which I forgot to talk about in the 200 review, I sort of talked about at the end. It was going to be a major subject, was using LLMs. And most people, for the people that I encountered, when they use LLMs, they use it to get educated by LLMs. And then they would talk about how, oh, but be careful, LLMs can hallucinate and you have to like cross-reference. It's like, that's understandable. But you're using LLMs to learn. I'm using LLMs to output. So I'm using the LLMs to find application. So what are the applications that I'm going to do? The first thing is I would get the LLM to at least tell me what they believe, what the data mining lords believe is a normal conversation between a Chinese speaking streamer and their audience. Because I do this every single day. Nearly every single day I stream, right? My first application would be, how do I read common commentary from Twitch or from other sources in Chinese? And then what would be a rough way or any way to respond or follow up? Because I focus on conversationalism. So I have to develop the basis and foundation on how to navigate those situations. My application has always existed. I wouldn't be learning Chinese or Japanese without an application in mind. And that's not the application that is the same as wishful thinking. Some people, they learn a language hoping that everything lines up so that they can move to Japan and like get integrated, being accepted as a foreigner but native like speaker. That's wishful thinking. That's not application. That's the results of things, in my opinion. If I want to be really brutal about the difference between creatively understanding what you can do, what the next steps are, then hoping that something down the line happens, and then you're working towards that with no like means of how to get there. Sometimes people know how to start because that information is very readily available, right? Go to an influencer and they'll probably be able to at least get you started. That's wonderful. But when you're no longer intermediate, or no longer like a beginner/beginner intermediate, your questions and problems become incredibly complex and even more and more nuanced. So then you start thinking, oh, I can still find that answer somewhere, right? That true answer somewhere. So you go to an expert, maybe someone who's in their intermediate stage, and you hoped to find some inspiration. But you're only looking for inspiration now, because the deeper you go, the less and less likely there's going to be a person that matches your profile, because you are now the thinker. So at some point, this is where getting a college degree, possibly, or getting a graduate degree humbles a lot of people, including myself. I was incredibly humbled, because when someone tells me, okay, now it's up to you, go and figure out what to do, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I just do anything? It's like, well, you got to do something that is useful and pragmatic. Like, I don't know what that is. So, you spend the next 7 years of your life trying to negotiate, and I still had the help of my mentors, right? I still had people who are before me who gives me feedback, but they're feedback now. It's not instructions. They don't provide instructions, because you are now the source of all the solutions and problems, right? You have become independent. And genuinely, I think one of the sources of problems that occur when someone gets into like 2 or 3 years of their language learning studies is that they aren't independent thinkers yet. I think one of the major sources of deficiency, in my opinion, is being unable to solve problems or critically think. And if you're thinking, well, how do I know I don't critically think or problem solve? How many problems do you have right now? Have you actively work on solving them each and every day, right? If you have a financial problem, have you spent each and every day trying to solve it? Or do you avoid it, right? Those are the things I care about when I talk to my friends. I'm like, my friend would say, oh yeah, I have this assignment for my current position, and I don't really like it. And it's like, I have to get it done. And then what they say next is, this is what I'm doing to get it done. Right? They don't say, I'm sitting there. It's like, oh, I'm just shelving that. I'm avoiding that thing. It's always been a problem. It's just going to be a problem. That's not how a critical thinker and a problem solver does. If there's a problem, you work and you solve that problem, because that's kind of unironically very fun to do. It's one of the things that life keeps throwing problems at you. You keep solving them. Your achievements and accomplishments in life is a list of problems and obstacles you've overcome. And then when you talk to someone that's experienced, they will genuinely and generally use those stories as a way to demonstrate their expertise. They wouldn't pedantically talk about the specificity of information that you can get on the internet that so many people know, right? I'm not going to tell you what is the most popular trend in being successful in language learning. I'm going to tell you how I overcome and become successful at becoming intermediate in a language. Not, oh yeah, this thing, it's a hot new toy, like everyone's doing that, you should go and do that. The times that I do that, it's not like I don't say that. The times that I do that, I hope to find someone who is experienced in that and defer the person to that, knowing that their experience do not overlap with mine. That is an advice from an experienced person. An experienced person know that they do not have the experience, but they know someone who has the experience, because through their experience, they have become associated with other people who have different experiences. So if a biologist or like a geneticist cannot answer your question because you're more asking a physics question, you hope that that geneticist have long been working in this field to know that there are physical questions that they cannot answer, so they have a colleague who is experienced in that, and you move the experience from one experience to the next experience, not go around and say, oh, this got a 7 out of 10. It's like, what do you think 7 out of 10 means? Like, the advice is good. Still, experience, in my opinion, with advice, like with knowledge and wisdom trumps just having knowledge. But I would take knowledge at any point, obviously. Being ignorant, completely ignorant and naive is even less helpful. Less helpful to me, but it can be very cathartic and healthy for someone, right? Sometimes if you're always knowledgeable about something, then you may not be able to appreciate doing something without any forethought. Like myself. What is that? Playing a video game that I have no legacy skills with. That can be incredibly it can make someone come up with new ideas, right? New ideas, develop new skills that they otherwise wouldn't have. So I don't want to make it sound like it's you don't ever do one thing and you always do another thing. You do all of them, all of the stuff. I just wanted to shine a little bit light on where I'm going in the future. This is the early stages. This is the stuff that people will make endless comments about, like, oh, you were doing it inefficient, like you should have been reading early and you should have been doing this first. And my answer to that is it's all of the above. You can do all of the above. Go for it. What it requires, though, in the long run, when it comes to memory and retention, is all that stuff you did, can you maintain it? Can you be consistent in it? Do you find uses for it? Because you can read all the books you want, all the trendy things you want. You can do all the trendy SRS things you want. But in the end of the day, if you're not going to use any of that, and it's not going to be part of your regular life, that's what happens when you start entering post-intermediate. What are you going to do with all that information? For myself, I didn't quite focus on certain things that people really, really loved and kept on harping at me about, which is like, did you speak to a native speaker? It's like, how often do you think I actually speak to people? Like, actually speak to people? Probably not that often. In fact, I'm still in the early stages where occasionally some of my friends are interested in learning Japanese and Chinese, which is great because now I can share and teach. And so that's what I focus on. I focus on how to get someone interested by using English to show things in Japanese and Chinese. I don't care if it's unnatural for most people. I think overall, I would like to say humbly, I'm more successful at relating to people who speak in English because people around me speak English, and then being able to contextualize most things in English in order to encourage people to pick up a couple phrases here and there. So the question is, are you doing more harm? Like, there are some snobby elitists that I've met over the last almost 2 years now that got angry at me because I can somehow encourage people to be interested in Japanese wrong. Like wrongly. I could hurt people by getting them interested in the language. And that to me is someone who has zero experience in educating people and getting people to be proud and be critical thinkers. You remove critical thinking when you get upset that someone didn't do exactly what you did. That is removing critical thinking. That's conditioning. It's more like dictatorship, actually. That's dictating, not education. The internet is good at dictating things, in my opinion. Parasocial relationships is dictation by nature because it cannot provide feedback. Right? You're not interacting with the person. So by default, you take the message as dictation. If you go away from it, like if you suddenly skew off the path of the parasocial relationship, then it is a negative feeling because there's no feedback. It's not like the parasocial relationship is going to change while you're changing. Your friends, people you interact with, people you provide advice for, they do change and they expect you with experience to also adapt and change with them. You go around saying that, oh, that's wrong, this is more optimal, that's less optimal. To me, those are like 4 or 5 red flags for someone who doesn't provide advice or help people solve problems. I would even go as far as saying, if I ask a question back, it's like, so how do you solve these problems? And if that person says, well, I never had this problem because I did it right, I used the right methods, then that person also would be a red flag for ever solving problems. Like, if you don't believe you don't have a problem, then you don't ever have to solve a problem either. And you talk like that too. And I would say that's about 70 to 80% of the people that I have met. Not that I'm not suggesting they're bad people. They're not, bad, good, injustice, altruistic, beneficial. That's not a profiling thing. It's to ascertain how often and how proactive the other person is. And how does that help me interact with the other person? Because I could be pedantic and say, oh man, you should fix your problems. Or every day I could be like belligerent and say, oh, did you fix that problem yet? Did you fix that problem yet? And that might not register with another person. I need to understand how willing they are. And that type of thing can be very useful in leaning and easing someone, right? Getting someone to say, yeah, that's enough. Like, I'm sad about this and I'm going to do something about it. So language learning is another big deal. It's getting into the 2nd year. I know it hasn't even been 2 years, but I'm already thinking into 3 and 4 years. How am I going to do this? Where am I going to go? I need to find application. I need somewhere where now I don't think about, like, some people like to stay in school, so they think about HSK exams and JLPT exams, right? Things that still only test the things you're schooled on, things that you are learning, right? They do not teach application. Like JLPT and HSK stuff, that type of formatting does not teach application, right? It teaches retention, like what you have retained, like what do you remember? You're not necessarily applying that stuff. At least when I looked at the exams, I think those exams are very different because they're geared towards competence, like they're measuring competence, not experience. So how do you determine what your experience is? How many books did you translate? How many books did you read through and then put in your own words in the target language? How many poems you wrote? How many haikus you wrote in Japanese? How many proverbs have you tried to understand in Chinese? Those are your experiences. And you can go out and do all of that. How many pieces of artwork was inspired off of kanji that you wrote or hanzi that you wrote? Those are applications, in my opinion. They involve creative process. There's a lot of critical thinking involved because you're like, well, when you go and do something, you're like, I thought I knew how to do this, but now I have to spend like the next 10 hours trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. And then it's like, okay, you know what? I know like only 40% of this, but what am I going to fill the other 60% with? Application. So I want to end with that sentiment. I've been a little bit sentimental now that 200 days are passed with HanziHero. But I guess I want to end on that sentiment. As per usual, right? This is the end of the HanziHero session for today. If you're gonna watch this later, 谢谢. Right? And like most the ends of segments, you're more than welcome to follow along. Pick up HanziHero for yourself or try it out for free, right? There's a trial period. Or tell me how you're applying things. If you're about here and you're in your comfy situations, it doesn't really matter what level you are on. Even in the beginning, you can have application. I understand that application does not lead to increased learning efficiency. I think places like Duolingo and other things, their emphasis is one of the failings, I would say. One of the miscommunications a lot of times, or missed opportunities, is to differentiate the importance of output in forms of retention and input in the importance of learning. So a lot of times I feel there are apps that are saying two different things, but because of their generalized knowledge, assuming that their consumers understand the two, they end up fighting each other. Like they're contrary to each other. Like, oh, well, if you spend more time outputting, then you're actually not learning a lot. It's like, well, one is true. They're both true. But if you're outputting, you're not learning, you're retaining. Right? So it's a different facet. It's like 80-20 retaining. In fact, some of the output can inspire a little bit of input. And then input is a lot of input, but occasionally can inspire output. If you learn a lot of things, it can lead you to try to use those things to make things, right? But in this day and age, people do like 80-20. They do 80% input because that's all they're learning, and they don't care very much about using that to create things, to make new sentences, to express themselves differently, or maybe the same but in a different way. That's like 20% of the time. So more input can inspire output, right? When you learn enough, you're gonna speak every once in a while. 80% of the time you're reading, 20% of the time you gain more and more confidence to output speaking. But there's also others. You can creatively write things, creatively speak things. It doesn't have to be natural. It's an application, in my opinion. And the opposite is true. Like the complement is true. When you spend 80% of the time outputting at a different time in your life, it's not all at the same time, right? When you're outputting, it can inspire input. You created something, it's like, oh, wait, I'm not completely satisfied with this paragraph that I'm writing. Then you go seek the input that's necessary to solve that problem. That creates creative problem solving, and it helps with retention, not learning. Learning is novel advice novel information being encoded. There is some of that when you're trying to solve a problem with creating something, when you're outputting. but outputting is the area of retention. And to me, while a lot of people keep saying, oh, the input is what needs to be constantly unique and engaging, people quit because they don't have retention and application. Like, oh, hey, you learned 2 years of this. It's all for a waste of time because you have no way to use it. So then you forget all of it again and then you start all over again. Both. So go out there, right? Feel free to come on by, share some stories, telling people what you did with the language you learned, even telling people and explaining to people what you have learned. It's an application of what you're learning. If you learned 10 vocabulary words and you try to explain it to your friend what those 10 vocabulary words you've spent learning, you are applying what you learned, despite never even having a conversation in that language. You will at least remember those 10 words and how to explain them. That becomes faster and quicker over time. It retains things. I do not stop thinking about the words that I learn. They are constantly in my head. I am applying them as much as I can, with or without speaking with a native person, right? This is my natural state. Retention is near 99% is because I already have an application for it. I want to be able to explain these things. I use these examples to talk about critical thinking and problem solving skills day in and day out. That's my application. So no, it's not going to Japan and surprising people about my fluency or getting a shock reaction from other people or demonstrating how good I am as a polyglot or something like that. That's not the application here. The application is always and had genuinely been getting people who want to learn and know how to retain it. Learning, retaining, problem solving, critical thinking skills, right? It's specifically problem solving, critical thinking skills. Because usually if you have a problem to solve, something you're really passionate about, critically thinking about, because it's passionate most of the time, that requires critical thinking, you get all the rest. You learn, in my opinion, you start learning to solve your own problems. You realize many of your problems are solvable now because if you can learn another language, what else can you do? Right? So I'm here always. You're welcome to come on by, join in the Yap session. I will be asking you a lot of questions, right? And I get to learn a little bit about what your problem solving skills are like. I think, in my opinion, I sound like a broken record, but keeping people thinking is the nature of playing video games. Learning another language, finances, all the stuff that make you exceptional. And I think it disheartens me when people think they're not exceptional and that they're in a helpless situation. There are situations, I still have to concede that there are situations people are helpless in, but you can find people too. You can also be a judge of character, right? And surround yourself with supportive systems. So all of that still ingrains in using the one thing that makes humans so brilliantly full of potential, and that is being constructively able to apply things that they learn. So yeah, feel free, stop on by. I'm not here to convince you are, but I certainly would not be shy of getting you to try, right? And as always, for those who are only interested in HanziHero in Chinese, 大家下次见, right? I'll see you guys next time. 感谢观看, right? 观看. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.